Oh man. How long has it been since I booted up Rise to make a video about it? Ah, yes, the update 3.2 where they fixed the fire damage of shelling. For 2 points of damage. Anyways, I guess you already know. Monster Hunter Rise Ultimate is nigh in about 10 months from now. Rise incarnation of gunlance was a blessing. It fixed so many design problems gunlance had in both classic games and in World plus Iceborne. It had genius ideas like the fast combo of charged shells into Wormstake and a revision of classic moves like charged shells to make them more engaging. I was working on a video about these new good stuff when, surprisingly, yesterday we got the news about the expansions. I will complete it later once I finish this series of videos that take a lot of precedence since Rise Gunlance, as good as it feels, has some glaring issues. The first ones that this video is about are Wyvern Fire and Hail Cutter. It is impossible to talk about one without mentioning the other because of the forced synergy the game has between each other. Wyvern Fire's natural passive cooldown got greatly nerfed from Iceborne and even the other classic games. It takes right now 100 seconds to recharge even with Artillery 3. This makes that unless you pick Hail Cutter, you aren't going to use it often enough to be a decisive force. It is an attack that you only will do 6 times at most in 10 minutes. The main and only good feature of Hail Cutter is to reduce the cooldown by about 50 econs. Basically, with just one cast of Hail Cutter you bring down the cooldown to something usable about 10 times in 10 minutes. If you can even use it twice, thanks to carrying 3 wire bugs, it will completely recover your Wyvern Fire in a record time of about 8 seconds and become something resembling a main attack. Hail Cutter also sports a strong air slam move and a full reload. But since it takes so long to do the whole move, you aren't doing any good damage with just these 2 things. In conclusion, Hail Cutter is as good as your Wyvern Fire is. And Wyvern Fire damage sucks more than the new Elder Dragon Blood. First of all, there is a big disparity between the damage of a Wyvern Fire from a normal or wide gunlance over the long one. Long gunlance Wyvern Fire does 1/3 extra damage that is very significant. Doing a Wyvern Fire with a wide or normal gunlance will actually lower your DPS than just doing a burst fire combo over and over. Even with long, the best you will do is to match the damage and that will all the risk involved. By example, a fast burst combo of shell, quick reload, slam and burst does 350 while Wyvern Fire only do 450 more. If you then replace Hail Cutter for Ground Splitter, you 397 damage from that combo. Yeah. Hail Cutter is a move that takes 2 casts to be able to use Wyvern Fire that doesn't do any kind of spectacular damage and which only saving grace is being able to guard attack, and not only that, Hail Cutter is a move that takes ages to complete when performed in the ground. I could keep bashing Hail Cutter forever, but for not making the things too long, the issues of Hail Cutter are: is expensive with 2 bugs. Bugs are the most precious resource in the game. You need them for recovery when hit or to use guard edge that are an essential gunlance tool. It is highly unsafe on the ground. Even the far better air version can take a bit too long. The benefit is bleh. And finally, if you pick this, you will not have Ground Splitter. Gunlance is a weapon that already highly struggles with shelling damage. Ditching a 20% extra damage for something is not great to begin with is no good. It saddens me because early at Rise life, spamming Hail Cutter was actually viable when there was a limited amount of good gunlances and armors. But in the actual picture, with easy critical builds and the rampage long gunlance being great at both shelling and melee, there is little justification other than playing it for the sake of it for fun. If you can call fun taking some extra minutes to kill something in the weapon that is already last for damage. Knowing all this, let me bring back something I said before. Hail Cutter is as good as Wyvern Fire is. That is the primary way to fix Hail Cutter. Wyvern Fire is in Papel, in description supposedly to be the strongest gunless attack. The signature move of mass destruction is so powerful that it is the only single special move in the series, until World for Bowguns, with a fixed inevitable cooldown so it doesn't matter what, can't be spammed. Wyvern Fire with that hefty cooldown is something similar to the ultimate skill in a MOBA game like League of Legends. Something that wins battles. I wouldn't choke to say that Wyvern Fire should do twice the damage it does now and would still be okay. Because Wyvern Fire is the Gunlancer Supernova. With that power, the offsets of using Hail Cutter shouldn't be that harsh because it is worth it. including the lack of ground splitter. That force of damage also would cause monsters to flinch more easily, thing that is never easy in a master difficulty. Even if you don't have Hail Cutter, just being able to cause a trip once in a while would make the move worth using other than the thing you use to guard roars. My experience with the Hail Cutter, greater than Wyvern Fire spam style, that I called back the time Wyvernlance was nothing but pure sheer fun. Basically consisted in spamming Air Cutter or doing full burst combos with a high guard for doing Wyvern Fire through attacks. The guarding of Wyvern Fire is something awesome even if it doesn't work in every monster and just gives you a safe follow-up from a full burst after using Air Cutter. Is that simple? This falls into the usual problems of shelling attacks that is material for another video. Another solution, that is no really a solution, would make Wyvern Fire always flinch or trip monsters like a Palico Big Barrel Bomb does. While this doesn't fix the weapon being the deep blast and damage comparisons would at least give Wyvern Fire a role and a utility to be used as much as possible. This is all for today. Next video will be about the issue of charged shells. I will keep doing these videos until I go through every single problem or Capcom just fixes gunlance somehow. Thanks for watching. And let's fight together at the Sunbreak.